On the phone with me right now, I have Nik Kaloper, the drummer from Australian music sensation, the Jezabels. How are you going today, Nik?
I'm really well, thanks. How are you?
Very good, thank you. It's so great to have you at the station on the line.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, no problems at all.
Now, your first full-length album, Prisoner, was just released last month, so life must be pretty jam-packed for the Jezabels at the moment.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, just as we speak, I'm walking up to the Enmore where we're going to start sound checking tonight for tonight's show. So there's, it's always go, go, go. We're in the middle of a tour right now.
Brilliant, brilliant. So I'd love to know, can you please tell our listeners what your new album, Prisoner, is all about?
Well, it's not a conceptual album necessarily. We didn't start it with the idea of having a certain idea in mind. We just started writing songs, and sort of what ended up coming out was what it is, actually. And then we sort of, Haley sort of unified the whole album with her lyrics that she's written in terms of subject matter. But, I mean, the album is it sounds like a vague answer, but it's really just about the four of us and what type of music we were able to make at that period of time, really.
Fantastic. And I'm just wondering, for you personally, Nik, where does your passion for music lie? Where does it originate from? Were you always a drummer as a child, or tell us a bit about that?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, it's always felt like an imperative somewhere in the back of my head to be making some sort of rhythm or music. I mean, it sounds a bit silly, but I started out in marching band back in California, actually. So I was in wind ensembles and marching band before I ever owned a drum kit. So that sort of gave me my grounding in percussion and drums. But then when I moved out here, when I was about 19, I got a drum kit and started teaching myself to play the drums, and then the drum set. And before I knew it, I found myself jamming around with a few different people and ended up in the Jezabels.
Fantastic. So when do you think you first started playing as a kid then?
As a kid? Well, in high school, I guess. it was probably year 7 or year 8, just in the music programs through the schools.
Fantastic. That's so cool. So
Yeah.
Tell us as well, I read once that you describe your sound, the Jezebel sound, as hip-tensive. I think that's how you say it, hip-tensive. I don't actually know that word. Could you tell us a little bit where you derive your sound from? Is this the best description?
What it is, it was a tongue-in-cheek thing. One day we said it's sort of intense music and it's indie music, so we called it intense indie. But as a play on words of the word intensity. But it was, what's pretty funny is everyone just took that and ran with it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't, actually call ourselves, we're like sort of indie music, and we think our songs are a bit intense sometimes, but that's just a bit of tongue-in-cheek, really. We're just a alternative rock band, I guess.
Well, yeah, sometimes I find, you're right, it can be a bit intense, but I think it's a positive intense, I have to say. It's a good intense.
Yeah, cool. Excellent.
You'll be soon heading over to North America as part of your Prisoner tour. Is this the first time you guys have toured the US?
No, it's not. It'll probably be the third time we've been back to the U.S. The first time we just stayed in New York, but the second time we made it to Chicago and New York and Austin for South by Southwest and some shows in L.A. as well. And then this time we're going back with the band we're playing with at the moment called Hey Rosetta, and we'll be supporting them throughout North America. So, yeah, it'll be more dates than we've ever done in North America. I think about 19 shows.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, and you're obviously from America as well, so you're heading back to your hometown, I suppose.
Yeah, I think my dad still lives in California, so I think you might come out to one of the shows in L.A., which would be cool.
Is he one of your greatest fans?
What's that, sorry?
Is he one of your greatest fans?
Well, as much as he can be. We haven't been out to the States enough for him to jump totally on board, but I think he enjoys the music, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be attending all 19 shows up in America.
Yeah, we'll see.
You'll see. The Jezabels first formed, that's right, in 2009. Well, that's when you started releasing your EPs anyway. What would you consider to be the most memorable experience over the last 2 years being in the band?
Everything's memorable to an extent. I mean, every time we go in to record something, it's always, how stressful it is, but also how fantastic it feels when you finish the recording. All the live shows we've played, I mean, some have been stupidly big. I mean, what we're going through right now is really quite a landmark experience for us, because we've never really played rooms this big as our own show before. So, I mean, we played 2 shows at the Tivoli up in Brisbane last weekend, and that was just that was insane playing to that many people, really, and when it's your own show especially. So, geez, you know what? Nothing stands out because it's all pretty surreal and pretty spectacular. The whole thing, really.
Fantastic. So, how have you guys improved on your craft since the launch of your first EP, The Man Is Dead, in 2009? Are there any significant sort of changes or enhancements that have been added to your sound, do you think?
Well, I mean, sort of practically, I know since that first EP, Heather has got another keyboard, so she plays the 2 keyboards now, and that just sort of widens the types of sounds you can make, and especially for us, we're only 3 of us are playing instruments, but we tend to get a bit ambitious on the records and put down several layers of many different instruments. So we're trying to recreate that and coming up with the most clever ways to get that huge sound from just 3 of us. And of course, Haley is singing on top of all that.
Exactly.
Has been the biggest challenge, and it's given us plenty of reasons to continually rehearse. I mean, that's the only way to get better at doing anything is endless amounts of practice. So. Yeah, so we're always in the rehearsal studio.
Practice makes perfect, that's what they say.
It does. It's a very true saying, I reckon.
What advice can you give to Australian musicians who are passionate about music but a little unsure on how to land a contract or get gigs?
Well, first thing they want to do is not go out for a contract straight away. They just want to get to know the landscape of the music industry. Definitely. But I mean, you'll always find your first few gigs come from either friends. Like if you have any bands that are friends that are playing gigs, see if you can support them. Even our first gig ever was the university band competition where we ended up meeting some of the people we still work with today. So the main piece of advice I can give any band trying to do anything is just put yourself out there as much as possible. Just play heaps of shows and just always, hard work, I guess, pays off at the end of the day. Another silly saying, but
no, but it's so true.
It's very true. I mean, just never think, you can't rehearse too much and you can't play live too much when it comes to being in a band. So just go for it.
And you have to be really passionate about what you're doing. If you love something that much, no matter what, even when it's hard, sometimes if it's meant to be, it will just happen, whether it's 5 or 10 years down the track.
Exactly right. I mean, if you're that passionate about it, you're going to find a way to do it one way or another, really. Whether you're playing shows to heaps of people or just practicing alone in your bedroom, I guess. So.
Well, yeah, you are definitely an inspirational person, that's for sure, and you guys are doing so well. But I just have to say, tonight you are, as you said earlier, playing at the Enmore in Sydney as part of your Australian tour. Are you guys all ready for the big night ahead? Because I know you're doing some sound checks and stuff.
We're sort of, you know what, I reckon this is going to be a pretty nervous show for us tonight. It's the hometown. It's the first big show in our hometown.
Yeah.
And, it's just really insane, to be honest. So we're all nervous, but sometimes that's good because you can make that nervous energy into an exciting performance. So
exactly.
I think we're just gonna do what we always do and try our hardest and just wing it and see what happens.
Well, everyone's there to see you guys play, so generally speaking, they're there to support you, not criticize you. So I'm sure.
Well, that's true. I think everyone's on our side, which is very comforting. It's very encouraging to know that.
Exactly. Well, we are based in Melbourne, but if I was in Sydney right now, I'd be definitely heading over to the Enmore because I really want to see you guys play. But I'll be sure to see you in Melbourne when you do head down here as part of your Australian tour.
That would be excellent. Awesome. Perfect.
Yes. So I have to ask the last question is, so what's in store for you guys over the next few months? I mean, I know you're touring and things like that. Is there any slowing down for you at all?
No, God, no. No slowing down whatsoever. We have North America, and then we're going to play the festival run over Christmas and New Year's, and then Big Day Out in January.
Fantastic.
And then we're going to go spend a significant amount of time on the other side of the world in Europe and see if we can find any Jezabels fans over there and see what they have to say about that. So, it's all happening, yeah.
It's all happening. Well, as I said, we are so excited to have an awesome Aussie band doing so well. I know you're still getting pretty big in Australia, and I'm sure overseas, especially in Europe, there will be a ton of fans waiting for you, I'm sure.
Cool.
But
excellent.
It has been so great to talk to you, Nick, and all of us at Plenty Valley FM wish you and the Jezabels a great night and enjoy your tour over the next few months.
Well, thank you so much. We'll see you around. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Bye, Nick.
Okay, bye-bye.
And that was Nik Kaloper, the drummer behind Australian music sensation The Jezabels. And for more info on The Jezabels, head to their website, which is www.thejezabels.com. Their first full-length album, Prisoner, is out now.